Since adopting a minimalist lifestyle, it's become much clearer to me that I really struggle with the impermanent nature of things in life. Not only of physical belongings, but also the things that we hold dear, such as friendships and relationships. However, recently I discovered a Japanese philosophy called Wabi Sabi, and this is helping me to begin embracing concepts like impermanence and imperfection, that they are a part of life, and that if we can accept them, this can transform our experience of minimalism and the quality of our lives. And I want to give a quick shout out to Lydia at Sage Life Minimalism, because that is where I first heard about the concept of Wabi Sabi. So please do check out her channel. I've put a link to her channel down in the description. So in this video, I'm going to give a quick overview of what Wabi Sabi is and explain 6 ways that it's helping to transform my minimalist journey and my life in general. So Wabi Sabi is a philosophy that gets us to think about where we can become more connected to ourselves, other people, and the world around us. So the 2 words broken down are wabi, which is the act of looking at the beauty in the simple things in life, like birds singing or the sunrise. It encourages us to detach from materialism in order that we can open up to the beauty of everything else around us. And the word sabi is focused more on time and the process of aging and decay, in terms of learning to accept that, learning to see the beauty in that as being a part of life, a natural part of life. And so here are the 6 lessons that I've learned so far from bringing the philosophy of Wabi Sabi into my everyday life. So lesson number 1 is that we aren't owners of things, we are custodians. So given that everything in life is impermanent and we won't be around forever, for me it stands to reason that we never truly own anything. Even if I pay off my house before I die, I will never truly own it, because if I did, it would cease to exist when I cease to exist. And I recognise that this might sound a bit bleak, but when I thought about it, I reflected on the word ownership, and it sounds a bit entitled, as though, I deserve this, I deserve to own this thing, it's mine, when in fact it's only mine for as long as I'm alive. Instead, we could think about this differently and look at ourselves as custodians of these items. These belongings are in our care and our protection for as long as we have them, and it's our privilege and our responsibility to take care of them, so that when we're no longer here, they can be passed on to someone else who can do the same, hopefully. Now, I don't know how that reframe of ownership feels for you, but there's something about being a custodian that evokes gratitude in me. I'm lucky enough to be the custodian of this house, to be the custodian of things I have in my life. It's helping me to take more pride and take more care of those things, which in turn will hopefully help them to last longer. Lesson number 2 is that broken doesn't mean bad. So there's an art form that you may have heard of called kintsugi, which stems from Wabi Sabi, where broken objects are mended using gold fillings. It's about embracing imperfections. And I did something similar recently with something far less glamorous than a nice vase or a delicate bowl. One of the freezer drawers in our integrated freezer was cracked. It had been cracked since we moved in. This house is around 10 years old. All the appliances are the original ones from when they were first installed. So unsurprisingly, things are going to have wear and tear. But I remember feeling a bit annoyed when I first saw the broken drawer, because I thought, oh, it's not perfect, it's got a defect. And I guess I could have gone online and looked for a replacement drawer, but because I want to be more make, do and mend rather than just replace, I spent £4 on some super glue and glued the cracks together. But once I looked at the drawer and the crack down it, I started thinking more about the story behind the crack. The family or families that have lived in this house before us, what sort of meals they might have cooked for people, whether they had friends around, who they entertained, the atmosphere that filled the home, which might sound a really weird direction to go off in, looking at the crack on a freezer drawer. But I thought the crack means there's a history behind this. It means that this item has been used for its intended purpose. And that's what I'm trying to see now, is that rather than looking at imperfections and scuffs and marks and dents, rather than see them as things that I need to sort of, I suppose, get rid of and cover up and hide, see them as part of the history of an item. And it then makes me think about, okay, well, what happy memories can I create in this house? And there may or may not be things that I break or things that I scuff within those memories. I'm looking forward to creating many happy memories with my husband in our new home. Lesson number 3 that I've learned, and I'm still learning, is that to struggle is to suffer. So if we try to fight the inevitable changes that we experience in life, or we refuse refuse to accept those changes, then we're going to be unhappy. I know I've got stuck on this myself, and maybe you have too, but I know that when I try to change things that are outside of my control, it's futile. I get frustrated, annoyed, upset. And so it's far better to focus on the things that are in our control. And that's not to say that there won't be things that happen in our lives that frustrate or upset us. It's not about never feeling those things. But I think what we can do is channel those emotions into taking actions that work for us rather than against us. For example, things will wear out. The clothes that we wear, our furniture, even our own bodies. This is inevitable when we use things regularly. So we're not in control of that aspect. However, what we are in control of is how much we take care of these things in order to promote their longevity. So this could mean things like following our clothing's care instructions, taking care of our furniture by cleaning, polishing, or waxing it, and looking after our physical bodies by eating a balanced diet and taking regular exercise. Lesson number 4 is that perfection is the wrong goal to have. Wabi Sabi explains that everything is in a constant state of flux. Nothing stays the same. Therefore, aiming for perfection, whatever that is anyway, because I don't think we can define it, is futile really, because the goalposts are always changing. And due to the fact that all of us are changing all the time, we're always imperfect. And so we need to let go of the need to achieve perfection, not just in ourselves, but in the things that we do. So one example of this is society's obsession with looking younger, not only looking younger, but trying to defy the aging process altogether. And some people go to great lengths to appear more youthful, and there's no judgment from me. It's not something I would do, but I know for a lot of people, it helps them to feel good. It helps them to feel more secure in themselves. But there's a quote I heard quite a while ago. I don't know who said it, and it goes something like this: "Don't be afraid of aging. It's a privilege denied to many." And that is so true. I know, or I knew people of my age who are no longer alive. And when I catch myself feeling bothered about some wrinkles or some sagging skin, I remind myself that I'm lucky to still be here experiencing this life. Wabi Sabi says that imperfection is the true nature of things. And instead of aiming for perfection, Wabi Sabi encourages us or invites us to aim for excellence, meaning doing all you can to be the best that you can be. Work to improve yourself as a person. Work on improving your skills. Not to be perfect at them, not to be a perfect person, but to be the best that you can be as an individual. Lesson number 5 I'm learning is that acceptance isn't resignation. So Wabi Sabi talks about accepting the concepts of imperfection and impermanence. It doesn't mean that we just have to accept them and feel a sense of hopelessness. In Wabi Sabi, acceptance is a very active process. It's when we say, okay, nothing is perfect, nothing is going to last forever. So what can I do about this? What can I do in the present moment with this time that I have right now to make the most of it? Accepting our reality doesn't mean to say that we shrug our shoulders and just say, oh, what's the point in anything? It means that we acknowledge our situation and make an active choice of what we want to do about it. And we do have a choice. We could live in fear about what is to come, and sometimes that fear does come over me. I fear about what's going to happen to the people I love. I fear what's going to happen to me when I'm older. But if I get caught up in those fears, I stop living in where I am now, and I can't focus on savouring and enjoying what's around me here and now. So rather than living with that fear, what I can do is accept those things and think about how I'm going to make the most of where I am right now in this moment. And that leads me on to lesson number 6, and that is making the most of what we have for the time that we have it. The impermanent nature of things is something that evokes a lot of sadness in me. After all, I don't like losing people or pets that I love dearly. However, what I'm learning to do is not get stuck in these feelings of sadness, but I'm seeing them more as an opportunity to make the most of what I have, whether that be personal possessions or relationships. So for example, there are some clothes that I used to keep for best. So they would just sit in my wardrobe, hardly getting worn because I was worried about wearing them too much and wearing them out. But that meant I couldn't enjoy them. So instead I've started to wear those things normally, more part of my everyday, so that I get to wear them, I get to experience them, and when they wear out, they wear out. This also gets me thinking about my physical health. I really appreciate my health for where it is right now. I'm mobile, I'm relatively fit and healthy, and this may not be the case at some point in the future. But rather than sort of getting worried about that and fearing what's going to happen, I'm making the most of what I can do now. I'm trying to eat a balanced diet. I get regular exercise. Because I am mobile, I want to make the most of that now while I can. Along alongside Wabi Sabi, another philosophy or lifestyle that is helping me to focus more on what I have and appreciate it is slow living. Now, slow living isn't about slowing down the literal pace at which you do things, but it's about getting off the treadmill of doing and taking time to reconnect with the things that you enjoy, whether this is hobbies or interests or people you care about. And it really is having such a positive impact on my life, and I'd love to share it with you. So if you want to find out some of the ways that slow living could change your life, then check out the video that's on the screen. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.